KSJE Farmington. San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910. The San Juan County Walk to End Alzheimer's. The walk is full of flowers, each carried by someone committed to ending this disease. When you take part, you're helping raise funds and awareness for a breakthrough in this fight. Join us in Aztec, September 24th at Minium Park for the San Juan County Walk to End Alzheimer's. Visit act.alz.org/walk San Juan County or call 505-278-7927. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning, the last day of August 2022. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and you can listen anywhere else on the planet by going to our website and streaming KSJE.com, or you can ask your smart speaker to play KSJE. We also welcome our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. The video is streaming live this morning out to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. So we're glad that you are with us this morning, because coming up, we're getting an update from Farmington Schools with the start of the new school year, of course. We've got superintendent in the building with us this morning, as well as some other representatives from the school district. So we hope you'll stay tuned for our conversation, which will begin in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour, Ron Price is going to stop by for another lesson about life in the sandbox. You'll hear that today at 8:50 a.m. right here on KSJE. Next hour, it's our classical music program, Roving with the Arts, and Mick Hess is here. He has selections this morning from Aaron Copeland and also some other great composers. You'll hear that coming up at 9:06, a special 90-minute version of Roving with the Arts, because that'll take us to 10:30, and right on Four Corners, our local and regional author program. Tracy Hales this week is speaking with author Anthony Bartley about his latest book called Freak Show Summer. Hear more about that coming up today at 10:30 on KSJE. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on our Instagram page, in addition to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And if you're a podcast person, you can subscribe for free to KSJE Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, places like iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Google Podcasts and Pandora. Just check them out. Maybe discover a new program that you may have missed. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is sunny and 70 degrees at the moment. We are expecting a mostly sunny day today with a high of 92. Partly cloudy tonight, the low 65. Sunny and warmer tomorrow with a high of 94 on Thursday. 96 for a high on Friday. Sunshine and 93 for Saturday and Sunday. And as you can see, overnight lows in the mid to lower 60s. Well, let me introduce my guests who are here with me this morning. As I mentioned, representing Farmington Schools, Superintendent Cody Diehl is here in the studio this morning. Mr. Diehl, good morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Welcome. Also joining us this morning is Isaac Gamboa, who is here, the Director of Athletics and Activities. Good morning to you.
Morning, Scott. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. And Dale Bode is here, also the Director of Security at Farmington Schools. Good morning to you.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Good to see all of you gentlemen here this morning, and thank you for coming in. Mr. Diehl, let me start with you a little bit about the school year and how things are going. Off we go, right?
Off we go. It doesn't matter how prepared or unprepared you are, they show up, right?
That's true.
And so I think the energy's been amazing. Some sense of normalcy to the start of the school year as compared to the last few years with the COVID years. So we feel that excitement, and it's been a great start.
Very good. Certainly different this fall than last fall, I guess, for folks who can think back and think about where we were last year with going back to school.
Definitely. And like I said, we've had just a lot of energy. It's felt really good. It's just different. It's a different feel. So I think people are happier, kids are happy, parents are happy.
Right.
Community's happy about it. So we've had a great start.
There you go. Good. Well, and there's a new superintendent.
And there is a new
in
superintendent.
the office. So there you are. Let's start by talking a little bit about some trainings and things for your staff, because I know that's a big thing for school districts these days of helping your teachers and staff and everybody kind of hit the ground running, I guess, right?
So I think onboarding is big, and how we recruit and retain our teachers. Providing support is key in order to keep them there and keep them up to date, supported. Our curriculum department does a fabulous job of onboarding new staff, along with continuing growing our teachers daily. We have instructional teacher leaders in all of our buildings, supports in place, so we kicked off the year really well with an onboarding process.
Very good. And coming out of the last couple of years, I mean, are there some training things that can help maybe teachers to identify students maybe who are maybe not quite up to the level they need to be at, or maybe just trying to get them back up after 2 years of pandemic and remote learning and back and forth?
Yeah, and a lot of our efforts have been focused around social and emotional learning,
Right.
Providing that support. There has been some learning loss, so creating systems of intervention, not only systems of intervention, but extending learning for students who have learned. So, yeah, continually providing that support and trying to identify students, identifying gaps. We added time to our early release Mondays, a dedicated, uninterrupted time for professional learning communities to focus on collaboration around student learning and results, student outcomes. So giving teachers more time to identify those students.
Right. And I guess work with each other too, those learning communities, right? That's what they're meant to be doing, right? Collaborating with each other.
That's right. Best practices, best teaching practices, designing common assessments so students get an equitable education.
Right.
So, coming together and collaborating and helping each other. More than ever, we need to support our teachers and our families and our students. It's been a tough couple years. Teaching is always tough, and there's never enough time to continually grow and learn. And so the possibilities that are provided in our district for our teachers to grow are amazing.
Right, very good. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about this morning, too, as we see on the screen, is this High Reliability Schools Summit. And so talk to me a bit about that.
So in years past, our systems that we have in place all gear around Marzano's and Associates high reliability schools and the pillars of that, safe, supportive, collaborative culture, effective teaching in every classroom, guaranteed, viable, equitable curriculum, standards reference reporting. So those are 4 pillars of our strategic plan, but that is high reliability schools. So in years past, we would send a group of teachers, leaders to the High Reliability Schools Summit. It would be in Austin, Texas, or Denver, Colorado. And our curriculum department, Nicole Lamson, had this vision of, let's bring the summit to Farmington. We'll be able to invite more teachers. More teachers will be impacted. So Marzano and Associates came to us this summer, and they spent 3 days here. Dr. Phil Warwick, who is a great partner for Farmington Municipal Schools, along with Marzano and Associates. We've been partnering with them for the greater part of 10 years. So bringing the summit here, we were able to impact more of our staff and have more teachers attend. A little cheaper than sending people to Austin and
Well, you can't send
Denver.
200 people to Austin, I suppose, right?
Exactly.
So
it was an amazing 3 days, and the possibilities of what it looks like in the future are infinite. We are going to grow it. We're going to add more teachers. We're going to add more time. We're going to model it even tighter around the summit that's delivered, and I think they've moved it to San Antonio now. Who doesn't want to go there?
Right.
But having it here, and then maybe even the possibility of inviting our surrounding districts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good. And this philosophy has kind of been the basis for some of the curriculum and some of the successes that Farmington Schools has seen and parents have seen over the last few years and gotten this statewide recognition?
Exactly. All of our schools are certified in level 1s in those pillars.
Right.
High reliability schools, safe, supportive, collaborative culture. We have and you know what? I should probably get a hold of Miss Lamson and invite her in the future. All of our schools might be certified in level 2 as well, and some working on level 3.
Okay.
So And our strategic plan in our district, our board retreat in July, is all centered around those pillars as well, along with a communication goal. So yes, everything is aligned, and what we've done over the last, like I said, 10 years, but really high reliability schools within the last 3 to 4 is our systems, and that's our way of work.
Gotcha. Very good. And you've been welcoming folks back, and here's another picture from looks like an assembly or a meeting.
So that is a shot from the summit.
From the summit.
Yep. So Dr. Warwick and I were able to keynote the start of the summit, and I challenged our staff and the teachers that were there. Making what we have in place that's good better. Right. Making what we have that's really good even great, and making what we have greater. And so that's a challenge. And along with that, we talked about going pro. We want our teachers to become pros. Right. And so it's a focus for us. It's always continuing to get better. Gotcha.
Very good. What we're looking at here.
So that is one of the high reliability schools presenters. Okay. So yes, she is. That's a group of our teachers at the summit.
Got it.
I'm going to tell you that I don't remember the name.
That's okay. I'm putting you on the spot, but that's all right. But that's all right. But this is part of what your staff went through.
So we had 5
with these folks.
We did. We had 5 associates from Mazzano and Associates. Dr. Phil Warwick being the leader of that group. Right. And I think we have a slide of Mario Acosta. There he is. Another practitioner, another former principal who comes and delivers professional development for our teachers around, the high reliability school framework. Right. So those are shots from the summit.
Got it. And so again, bringing these folks here allowed you to provide that one-on-one or that one to a few groups with many more teachers and staff than you'd be able to do to send them all away to this remote location. Right. To San Antonio.
And we are so excited because it's going to grow even bigger, and we're going to be able to send even more.
Right. Very good.
There's Dr. Phil Warwick there, and he's a champion for Farmington Municipal Schools, along with many districts all over the country. We can't thank him enough for the effort that he's put into our district to help us become better.
And I wanted to bring up again, I think it's important to note, and I'm sure the community has heard before, all the recognition that Farmington Schools has been getting, both locally and statewide and nationally, for some of the successes that your students have had when it comes to whether it's assessments or what have you. And so this is directly related, I think, to this type of work, is it not?
It is. And it's a focus on, the title speaks for itself, high reliability schools. I mean, providing systems in which students can grow and learn. And so it's a great framework.
Got it. Well, and now it's back to school time. So schools are open. Yes.
Yeah, I've been in several schools at the start of the year, and like I said, people are happy. Right. I feel this energy, a different type of energy, and I don't know, Mr. Bode and Mr. Gamboa are in our schools regularly, and hopefully they can talk about it. I know that Mr. Gamboa is going to talk about athletics and how the community supports us. So it's just a good feeling at the start of the school year as compared to the last couple.
Sure.
For sure.
That sounds like a great transition to our next guest. What do you say, Mr. Gamboa? Shall we invite you into the conversation here this morning and let us know how things are going with the start of the school year?
Things are going great, and kind of going off of the trainings, we've also tied it into coaches as well. We have a big coaches clinic at the end of the year, so our trainings are they're spreading throughout the district, and we're using our coaches to teach our coaches. So, but as far as athletics, our participation numbers are through the roof right now. Football, we have 120 at one school, 105 at the other schools. We've got quite a few kids playing. Our middle schools we're struggling to find helmets. That's how many kids we have.
I guess that's an interesting problem to have, right?
Yes.
These days.
Yep. So numbers are good all across the board in all athletics. The number of kids that showed up for tryouts at volleyball was phenomenal. So our numbers are really good. There's a lot of kids engaged and plugged in. Our crowds have been huge. Our football, even when it rained on Friday night at the football game, we still had a pretty nice sized crowd. I went to middle school volleyball last night at Mesa View, and it was a jam-packed gym. And I got to thank the community. They're supporting us, but also they're behaving. They're showing great sportsmanship, and I've been getting a lot of letters from the NMAA of some places that aren't. And so it's just a huge thank you to the community for not only supporting us but showing class in the stands. So.
Nice to hear. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think that is important, because we certainly hear some of those reports from other communities, and it's always, I think, a little disappointing, right, when folks get a little out of control or just, don't support the kids who are really out on the field and doing something else while they're there. It's too bad.
Yeah, they're cheering loud and they're supporting our kids, but they're keeping it contained as far as going overboard on stuff. So I really appreciate that. And one thing, I don't know when the transition here, but really want to recognize one of our athletes from Farmington High School, Caden Gonzalez. We found out in June he was nominated and awarded Gatorade Player of the Year for boys track and field. So he's got a big banner hanging up at Farmington High right now. So he's going to Pima Community College over in Arizona to run track out there. So phenomenal football player. I think he even played soccer early on in high school, and then he finished out track and was state champion in triple jump. So
very good.
Great athlete, great kid. So congratulations to him and Coach Dalton.
Nice to see, and nice to see that recognition. So congratulations to him, and thank you for sharing that with our audiences this morning. I know, I believe there was a reclassification, right, over the summer from last school year to this school year for at least one school, maybe more.
Farmington High is 6A and everything now. Well, 6A in football, 5A and everything else.
I see.
Football has the 6 classes. PV still at the 5A. So 4 years ago, PV was in the same situation, so now we've flopped schools. So Farmington High is going to be with La Cueva, San Diego, El Dorado, West Mesa, and districts. So a little bit different than last year's districts.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yes.
And those are some big schools too,
Yes.
right? I mean, are they one of the smaller 6A schools now, or how do they rank?
They're towards the lower numbers of the big schools.
Not that it means they can't compete, because I think they can be competitive.
And they're getting there. I mean, the last game didn't reflect that score, but if you watch the film, we're right there. We make a few plays and we're right in those games. So Coach Dalton's just plugging away and getting those kids ready to go. So it'll take some adjustment, but they'll figure it out.
Right. There you go. And I wanted to go back to what you mentioned early on about kind of the turnout at the games and the students that are coming out to be on your athletic teams and things along that line. Is that, you think, part of just being kind of pent up last couple of years, or maybe not feeling comfortable getting out there and fans being more comfortable coming out to cheer on those teams?
I think it's partly that, but I think the kids are that school pride is becoming big right now. And if you go to a pep assembly at either school, our principals, Rocky Torres and Kelly Thur, it's amazing. They get those kids going. Our student sections are huge. So there's a lot of support, and we just keep asking the fans keep coming and supporting. So,
right.
And thank you again to them. I can't thank them enough.
Sure. And I guess rivalry is good to a certain degree, right?
Yes.
And sportsmanship is important, and so as long as it stays under control.
And so we have an athletics leadership group, and so I meet with them once a month, and it's Farmington PV, and we squash all the chatter back and forth, and it's rivalry week. We play each other, but we keep it classy. After that, we're friends. We're in the same community, and we're kind of going off the team of this is our town. So
very good. Mr. Diehl?
I would just jump in real quick about his leadership with his students. Amazing to see our boardroom full of leaders from Farmington High and Piedra Vista, student leaders, talking about and contributing to collaborating about our programs. So special thanks to Mr. Gamboa for not only bringing kids together to build our athletic programs, but as he said at the start, coaches coaching our own. Mm-hmm. He's had 2 coaching clinics in the last 2 years where our coaches, 2, have stood up in front of each other and supported and talked about best practices. So I commend him for bringing our students together and our coaches together to support one another. So it lends to what he's talking about.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right. Very good. And Mr. Gamboa, again, is that something that the students are picking up on and happy to take part?
It's gaining traction. I mean, the conversations, if anybody ever comes and sits on them, it's amazing what the kids see and how it connects with what the coaches are seeing. And I think those high high problem areas are really starting to get resolved by the kids in the program, and it's really cool to see. And they're using those vocabulary, like we're big on the E+R=O, if you're familiar with that. And I went to a soccer game the other day, and there's a kid on the other team reacting, and he's like, "Coach, he's not controlling his R factor very well." I mean, it's coming out. They're recognizing it, so it's really cool to see.
I hope they retain that into adulthood.
Yes.
I really do. We need some
That's
more
the
adults
goal.
like that, right?
Yeah, sports is the vehicle to get them ready for later on.
Very
So,
good. Very good. Well, thank you
Yeah,
for coming in
thanks,
this
Scott.
morning and sharing it with us. We appreciate it very
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Bode, let me turn to you a little bit about school safety and some of the things that you've been working on, maybe over the summer. And can you give us an update on some of those projects?
Well, school safety doesn't really stop over, even though the kids aren't in school over the summer. And the summer is when we kind of get with our maintenance departments and our school leaders and work on updating their technology in the school, whether it be their electronic locks or their cameras or whatever, and get everything ready for the school year when it starts. Once school starts, we do our drills and stuff, and all the schools have been getting into that and doing their statutorily mandated drills or fire drills and things like that. And we have a lot of new principals and assistant principals, and it's been really neat seeing how well they've been doing and how well their students have been doing, because with the pandemic, a lot of that stuff, kids just weren't used to it, and so it's been really nice seeing how well the schools have done with that. And then we're always training, whether it be with staff members or even with our partners like the Farmington Police Department, and they did some trainings earlier this summer where they worked with their real-time crime center and their officers in one of our schools just to work on how they would react to an emergency and get their officers familiar with what schools looked like. And then we're also working with the county's emergency management group to like we do every year for the large-scale type of stuff, and training our staff to even help out other districts if they had the need in an emergency. We'd be able to help them by giving them some staff and helping them out with that.
Sure, sure. These are conversations that you probably don't like to have, but it's important to have them in case, right? And that's where we are. And I think it's really important, too, to be working with those other entities that you mentioned, emergency management and FPD. That real-time crime center, I just want to mention to our viewers and listeners who maybe aren't familiar, that is a pretty new investment from the police department with access to maybe security cameras and other cameras at different locations. And I think that's what the schools are able to share with the PD in case of an incident. They can maybe look and see what's going on in some capacity.
Yeah, we went ahead and entered into an MOU with them, and they can access our cameras in case of an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a view, but it allows them to give real-time data to their officers or even the fire department. If the fire department responds to a fire alarm, they can pop it up at a school and see where smoke is or where smoke isn't, and give that information to the fire department, just expedite responses across the board. But
yeah, because even at one school, pardon me for interrupting, but even at one school like Farmington High School or PV, if there's a fire alarm, if you can pinpoint in what building, in what hallway, on what floor, that would save a lot of time.
It does, and we have a safety group here at the city level, and we meet with the fire department and police department monthly. We also have a county-wide group where we meet with the sheriff's office and the county fire and those groups monthly, and that's one of the things we're always trying to do in these meetings, is figure out a way that we can leverage each other's technologies or skills to try and help each other out in the schools or wherever it may be.
Right. Very good. And what's been the reaction from students about some of the drills and things like that? Do they get that this is just a necessary part of going to school, like fire drills were back in our day?
I think they do. You know, it's kids see the news as well. They're aware of the world that they live in, and you know, I remember my parents, their big thing was the stop and duck and cover or whatever it was.
Right.
And we had my generation was really heavy into the fire drills, and so this newer generation of students, they've just pivoted to a different set of drills that they deal with, and that they're aware of their surroundings and what's going on in their schools.
Right. Very good. Thank you for coming in this morning and sharing that with us. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
You bet. Mr. Diehl, let me come back to you a little bit of thoughts on security as we start the school year. I mean, this training and these drills, I think, are important that everyone's on the same page, especially, God forbid, in case of some real severe incident.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank our partners, as Mr. Bode said, Office of Emergency Management, Mike Messes, Farmington Police Department, Chief Hebby, Farmington Fire Department, Brandon Hurd, all of these folks that partner with us to help keep our schools safe. It is amazing how the community supports us. The Ben McGaheys of the world with our radios, and how they offer their time to come in and support us. So we certainly appreciate that, and we couldn't do it without them. So thank you to Mr. Bode and the community for the support that they give to help our students be safe.
Right. Well, certainly. And the school district, I know, has invested a lot of resources and money and staff to make buildings more secure, and communication upgrades and things that you're mentioning.
Radios, in a teacher's hand.
Yeah.
At minimum, it's $300 per radio, and I think we have over 1,200 radios in the hands of teachers that can access PA systems, 911, our cameras. I think we have over 500 cameras in our district. Access control, secure vestibules to get into schools, or to not be able to get into our schools.
Right.
So they've done a really nice job of continuing to grow that safety.
And just briefly to pick up on the radio comment and topic, that allows your staff who has them immediate communication, right, with whomever they need to communicate with, rather than relying on maybe an overwhelmed cell phone network or something that may go down in case of an emergency.
Absolutely, and with the vision of Mr. McGahay and Mr. Bode, when I was a principal, if I wanted to make a call over the intercom, I had to get back to my office and pick up the phone. And there were maybe 2 access points in our school. Maybe the main secretary had an access point, and there was one by the bell system. With their vision now and technology, we have people who are able to tie into our PA system from wherever they are on campus. A teacher on a playground, a principal in a parking lot, being able to log on or punch their way on through the key system to that PA system. Very powerful. Right.
Yeah. Very good. We're almost out of time this morning, gentlemen, but I did want to talk about numbers. Farmington Schools, of course, the largest school district in the region, and so numbers are looking, it looks to me, pretty solid.
Yeah, I think our enrollment's up a little bit as compared to last year, a couple hundred students. At least. I know maybe next month we'll talk about hard
specifics.
Numbers, specifics. Right. Our first reporting day of 40, being the 40th day, so we'll have a good, accurate count then. But like I said, I mean, it's been an amazing start to the school year. Students are back, teachers are back, all smiles.
There you go. For our radio audience who can't see the numbers, I just want to read them for them just briefly. Total students enrolled, about 11,317 as of yesterday, these look like, right? Yes. Thank you for compiling those for us. 891 in preschool, 3,914 elementary school students, a little over 2,500 in middle school, and just under 4,000 students in high schools. How about that?
Our high schools are bursting at the seams.
That looks like it with those numbers.
We have more students than space.
Right?
Yes.
Is that a good problem to have?
It's a good problem to have, but it's also a problem.
Yeah, sure.
It is a problem. So we have 1,900 students at Farmington High School, and it was built for 16.
Right.
It's a problem.
That's true.
It's a good problem to have.
And you're still hiring people.
We are. So, yes, please. And this is always the case. We always have openings. Our executive director of HR, Mr. Chris Pash, is always finding ways to recruit and retain.
And that's not unique to Farmington Schools. Every district, I think, in our state has openings.
It's not unique to New Mexico. It's unique to the country. It's not unique at all. It's all
openings all over the place.
It's all over the place. I was at a superintendent's meeting yesterday in Albuquerque, and it's not just teachers. It's every position.
Right.
So, yes, please.
There you go. And as you can see, 21 teacher vacancies, 11 in elementary positions, 30 support staff positions you have open right now, 20 teacher aide, 2 social workers, 2 health assistants, custodians, and bus drivers also needed at the school district.
Seems like a lot, and it is a lot. But
And coaches, Mr.
Yep.
Gamboa
We
adding.
have,
Thank you.
We have 20 schools, so when you look at that, the numbers, it seems like a lot, but if on average maybe 1 or 2 per school. So we're going to keep continuing to work hard to try to fill our staffs and make sure that we have the best people in front of our students.
There you go. Very good. And I guess the website is where you go to apply for any of these opportunities, right?
Yes.
That's the best way to do it.
That's the best way to do it.
And find out more details than we can go into here this morning. So
Absolutely.
there you go. Well, very good. Well, gentlemen, we are out of time at the moment, so I want to thank you all for coming in, and congratulations on the successful start of the school year, all 3 of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As always, thank
You
you for
bet.
having us.
You bet. Anytime. We'll see you next month.
Okay.
Thanks,
Mr.
John.
Diehl, good to see you. Thank you very much. My guest from Farmington Schools here with me on KSJE. KSJE and San Juan College present the Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week.
All right, again, for week tip number 2 from the Student Achievement Center is time management. We really encourage our students to develop a time management. This can include creating a study plan at the beginning of the semester based on your course syllabus. Ideally, you should study a little bit every day throughout the week. Even just 20 minutes can make a huge difference, so you don't wind up cramming and stressing out right before the big exam. Also, don't forget to look at the big picture. Review your syllabus each class and set the due dates on the calendar for exams, tests, and big assignments. This assures that you have plenty of time for study for your tests or complete those larger assignments that are due.
The Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week, presented by KSJE and the Student Achievement Center at San Juan College. KSJE is proud to support the San Juan Medical Foundation's 42nd Annual Walkathon, Saturday, September 17th. The Walkathon is the Foundation's premier annual event, the fundraising effort that supports the Connolly Hospitality House and the San Juan Medical Foundation's mission of enhancing the health and well-being of people in the Four Corners community. Register to walk, sponsor a walker, or make a donation at sanjuanmedicalfoundation.com.
Could you tell the difference between a real voice